So a quick update in the Halle Bailey DDG situation. Yesterday, Halle was granted temporary sole physical and legal custody of her son that she shares with DDG, Halo, until June 4th, until a court hearing. So on Tuesday, we talked about how she went and told the judge, hey, this is everything that's been happening to me. She got that temporary restraining order. But in addition to that, she did ask for the custody. And she asked that she wants to remain the sole custodian of her child moving forward as well, but a judge is going to decide on that. And according to the legal docs that she filed, she did this and she didn't give any notice to DDG, because y'all remember he was on that stream and he was like confused and people were like, how you don't know this coming? She said she didn't give any notice to him that she was doing any of this because she is alleging that she was in fear that violence would reoccur and that she feared that the other party would take the child out of the area before the order could be granted and served. So that's just an update there.
Can we get the puff?
Yeah. So yesterday in court, Cassie took the stand again. It is the second week of trial, and she finished her the conversation she's having with the prosecutors. These are the people that want Diddy locked up. She talked about a ton of things, but one thing that they did yesterday that I thought they did a good job at is they leaned into why the sex trafficking charges are there. So they through Cassie's testimony, they set up the whole like enterprise that they're claiming he has. So based on her testimony, you have, Diddy here at the top. And these are not things she said verbatim. It took her hours to get through all of this, but this is what you walk away with. You have Diddy at the top of the hymn, and then Cassie's like second in control because she's making phone calls, she's booking the escorts. Then you have different employees that come in from time to time. You have a person, they're alleging a woman named KK is involved.
So it's like a crime ring.
Exactly. They're alleging a security guy who's also like a really close friend of Puff's named D-Rock is involved. They throw out some names here. Now, the crime itself, people are confused about, like they're like, well, how is he sex trafficking? How is that even a thing? But what they're showing us evidence of, text messages and conversations, is Diddy saying, yo, fly these people out. So Cassie went through at least a good 15 different escorts that she knew by name because they had dealt with them so much.
Different cities, different places.
Bro, LA, New York, Miami, and Las Vegas was their main spots, and they was flying these people all to these different places. Like one guy was based in New York, but he had been to all them places with them.
And that is allegedly the definition of sex trafficking, correct?
That's part of it. Yeah, it's part of it. When you fly people across state lines with the intent to do anything immoral, and you're forcing them or coercing them to do it, correct?
The action or practice of illegally transporting people from one country or area to another for the purpose of sexual exploitation.
And you don't have to force them. So if they just do it for that, like you're not forcing them, but if you send them and pay them for that, that is sex trafficking.
That's a part of it. But the forcing and the coercing comes into it as well. Coercion comes into it. And now that's what I said. So I said when it comes to Cassie, the prosecution showed us a bunch of text messages, and she had a lot of conversation about how she was coerced or forced, right?
Gotcha. He's facing charges of sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, transportation for purposes of prostitution, and racketeering conspiracy.
So the prostitution and the transportation for prostitution, boom, that's you bringing people across state lines that have sex with them and paying them to do it. On Cassie's side, the coercion and the force, they showed text messages where Puff is texting her and saying things like, threatening to blackmail her with freak-off videos. So a lot of people were like, yo, we don't know what they have. They literally showed it yesterday.
Now, you also said, am I right or wrong, that they showed pictures and videos of Cassie beat up and knots on her head?
Not video. They will not show any video in court because they don't. They're afraid that it'll get out. Even the photos they showed, they've showed them, but they only showed them to the jurors and to Cassie to look at. But yes, the couple photos that they did show of her abuse, it was so bad.
You seen them?
Yes.
So you did see him?
Yeah, like we didn't get to see photos of the freak off. They showed actual screenshots from the freak off videos, but we saw some photos of the domestic violence, and it was horrible. Like, she took a selfie and her lip was so swollen. There was another photo of like the gash on her head, a huge gash on her head, and she said that she didn't even go to like a regular doctor. She went to like a plastic surgeon to get stitches because they just was trying to keep it low.
And this wasn't the DV from the video that everybody's seen.
They spent about an hour and a half talking about situations completely nothing to do with that video that everybody saw.
Why didn't they let y'all see pictures of the freak offs?
Because they want to make sure that no media or because there's normal people of the public in court as well too. They don't want nothing to get out because it can be re-traumatizing for the women already because they got to sit up here and talk about it. So they're like,
but they showed y'all pictures of Cassie all lumped up.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the video, yeah.
It was
That's
just
crazy.
they argued about it for a day, Jess, and I don't know. They just decided not to do it. They said that they didn't want to re-traumatize the victims that way. But
Was Cassie's parents there?
Cassie, I didn't see Cassie's parents, but her brother and her husband were there. And when they started getting into a lot of the things about, you know, the sexual acts that she did, he was there and I was watching him. He was unfazed. There was a couple times where he took a couple glances at Puff. Like he's been.
Yeah, could you imagine? You see
Yeah.
your sister, or you see, if her parents are there, you see your daughter knotted up. Like, yeah, you want that get back.
But I wanted to talk about I forget, I was going somewhere and then we they brought up Kid Cudi and they brought up a timeline of like just different guys that Cassie had begun to try and date and get away from Diddy with, and what would happen when she would try to do that. So Cassie alleged that when she started dating Kid Cudi, she kept it really low or whatever, but when Puff found out, he made them all sit down and have a conversation at a dinner table. And this was and he had threatened to Cassie allegedly that he was going to do something to Kid Cudi when they went out of the country. He was going to blow up his car allegedly. And so when they sit down at dinner, Kid Cudi's like, well, what about my car? And Puff was like, I don't know what car you're talking about. But what I thought was crazy about this timeline was there's always a thing of her being with Puff and then going back to these other men and then going back to Puff. With Kid Cudi, the day she talked about going to go see him one of those days, she had left from a freak off and went to go see him.
Now also,
I'm interested to see what Diddy's defense team is going to come up with, because if you get on that stand, I mean, when Cassie gets on that stand and you try to press Cassie, you can't press her without admitting Diddy did commit crimes. Like if you're going to say Cassie is G Money, then that means Diddy was Nino Brown. So if you're his defense, you would have to acknowledge that he committed crimes in order to, implicate Cassie. Are they going to try to say, Diddy did all these things, but it was consensual, but she's clearly telling you it was.
I have a question. Does Cassie have immunity? Because can she be charged? Do we know that?
I don't know the answer to that. I can find that out, but I'm gonna tell y'all this. I was sitting there yesterday and I'm like, okay, the prosecution did a good job. I see where their case lies with Puff, but if she wasn't sitting up here testifying, I wouldn't have been surprised if they would have tried to come and get her some way, because she was so involved in everything. And even though she went through a lot, I'm not taking that from her. She talked about having UTIs that even antibacterial medicine couldn't cure anymore because she was having so much sex. There were sores in her mouth. Like,
so why has nobody else been arrested if it's a RICO?
That's what I was saying. I was wondering.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think, in my opinion, and I don't know, but I feel like some of these charges are not going to, they're not going to be as strong once we hear all the testimonies. But there's certain things based off of yesterday and based off of yesterday, and it's going to change every day.
It's only been day 3?
Yeah, but
8 weeks.
You can walk away. You can walk away with opinions early.
No,
because
we got a long way to go.
You can.
No, we can't.
You can.
You have to hear all the facts.
You don't even have 10% of the evidence yet.
Nah.
I don't.
We have to see.
You do have to see.
I know we got to go, but it came out about the settlement with the Cassie settlement and Diddy.
$20 million.
So
we finally know the number.
$20
She received $20 million, and she said that $30 million she asked for, she just randomly came up with that number because she felt like that's what she deserved. And this was after she had sent the book over to Puff's team, and she was told by one of his employees, "Oh, ain't nobody taking this serious."
Now she received the $20 million. I see a lot of people saying if she received the money, then why is she still testifying? And she said that in court yesterday too, right?
She said that she felt guilty. That she felt like that, she had been doing all these things, and she felt guilty. She felt bad. Now she wanted a chance to do something right.
When you heal, your choices stop coming from pain and start coming from clarity. Cassie is making choices with clarity right now.
Yeah.
When she was with Diddy, she was making choices from pain.
Man, pain. She talked about a suicide attempt. I know we got to go. It was so much.
I'm just sorry. She got to, think about it. She got to relive all this again every day, the questions and talking about it. And then today is going to be on the other side. So the defense is going to be
I
going
bet
at
it's
her.
therapeutic for her, though. So when she says things like Diddy,
think so?
She broke down yesterday, Charlamagne. Broke down bad when she was talking about the suicide attempt.
I bet you releasing all of this is therapeutic for her. I bet you shedding all of this is therapeutic for her.
Wow.
Possibly.
Which is probably why the money ain't enough. No, I need to go get this off me.
Right.
She said she couldn't hold on to some things anymore too. She did say that.
All right. Well, that is the latest.
Happy birthday, Ray Lewis.
Who?
Ray Lewis. You don't know Ray Lewis?
Yes, I couldn't hear you the first time.
Happy birthday, Ray Lewis.
Go to sleep.
It's Ray Lewis' birthday, yo.
Yes, okay, we're aware. You said that.
Y'all know him, Mr. That's the Ravens
player.
the former.
Doggy of the day is up next, and also Jess Fix My Mess. Get on the phone lines 800-585-1051. If you need Jess to fix your mess, call us up as a breakfast.
You're not judging.
You're checking out The Breakfast Club. Wake that ass up
in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.